Hi, my name is Preston Bodlak. This is my informative speech, and for the topic of my informative speech, I picked the history of farming. You ever wondered what people 10,000 years ago ate? Thinking back 10,000 years, people think of movies and how people hunted and gathered their food, and really, the hunting part, yeah, they did that, but the gathering was the big part with their fruits and their vegetables. Um, that was the agriculture back then, and it has evolved over time from hunting and gathering into today's world where there's machinery to do all the work, and they didn't have to use bows and arrows anymore. They can use guns to get food, and they don't have to go out and just gather everything. They can plant it in the ground and then it comes out. Agriculture is the raising of domesticated animals and plants, the cultivating and preservation of ground. Agriculture is developed over a ton of regions. Anywhere from North America, South America, and all over the world there's agriculture and farming. Hunting and gathering was the most common form of farming way back when. During the Neolithic times, the most common crops that were produced back then were emmer, wheat, hulled barley, bitter vetch, chickpeas, and flax. These crops were known as the gathering. They were just crops that were already in the ground that they did not have to plant. That's where they got the gathering from, hunting and gathering. However, many different people were more advanced. They had sunflowers, tobacco, different types of squash, little barley. These types of crops were not domesticated in North America until about the 19th century, though. The Columbian Exchange is what kind of jump-started agriculture in North America. They had the New World and the Old World. They also brought a few livestock species over into the New World. When the Old World settlers came over, though, that is when they brought more of livestock like horses, cows, goats, lambs. In the Atlantic, the Columbian Exchange, they went across the Atlantic Ocean, and that had a big impact on the population growth of the world. Had a big impact on farming also because new ideas were brought over to the New World from the Old World settlers. During the 1500s, potatoes became a huge staple crop for the New World because it was a staple crop because they were able to diversify their diet, and potatoes allowed them to make many other foods with potatoes in them. As people were discovering other types of foods, though, they were also discovering new technology. Some of the very first technology started with animals like oxen and horses, and these animals were put to work by having handmade plows and harnesses to plow up the land. Men had to go out with their hands and still plant the seed. But the cultivation process was probably the most important, and that's why the newer technology started evolving with the invention of the plow. It made farming a lot easier, so they didn't have to go out there by hand all the time and do it on their hands and knees. They were able to stand and just drive the cattle across and drive the oxen across and the horses. Technology advances today would be like the GPS, all the guidance systems, the fancy tractors, the combines, the planters, things that drive themselves. That is what we think about today with technology. But really, that isn't the only thing with technology in today's farming. You also need the technology of how to produce a healthy crop with putting nutrients into the ground, with water management, and making sure waterways are able to run properly so there isn't you don't put any soot into the ground, and you're able to get the best of yields that you can. There's an emphasis on improving the nutritional value of food. Way in the earlier years of technology, back in the late 90s and early 2000s, everybody was just focusing on potential yields that you can get. That was the only thing they were worried about. And today, and you're around 2015 and 2016, they're trying to improve the nutritional value of foods, in the protein and grain and the essential amino acids, and the rising potentials for post-harvest losses. People are still using the old methods with trying to still produce high yields, but they're using new methods in today, so they are able to get high yields and still have all the correct food specifications they need. And IFDC is the one that would be the most information on that. A farmer is most worried about a yield that a crop can produce within a growing season. The 5 key components to a healthy crop are crop rotation, cover crops, soil enrichment, natural pest predators, and biointensive pest management. That came from UCS USA. Crop rotation is the process of putting a different crop into the ground, a different seed into the ground from year to year, and this allows essential nutrients to stay in the ground, enhance the soil quality, keep weeds down, and then pest control is usually to keep bugs from harming the crop, from ruining plants, and to keep a healthy crop so people are able to eat and they are able to make food out of the product that comes out of the ground. And soil enrichment is the number one and most important, because if you have healthy soil, then you're able to produce a healthy crop, and a healthy crop is what makes everything go around in the farming business. As farming goes around from year to year, there's new technology advances. Corn and beans tend to gain new technologies and are growing better. The prices are still what fluctuates. The farmer has to invest in other ways too. Way back when, you were either a cattle farmer or you were an agriculture farmer, putting seed into the ground and stuff. And livestock is another form of income, like cows and chickens and pigs. Those are another huge investment in today's world. And just some things off of that, the breeding process is what people look for these days, and how they breed their animals, their genes, their backgrounds, their family backgrounds. But farming from the beginning has changed significantly over the years. Not only technology has played a significant role, but plants produced, just many things have made it a huge industry. And with crop farming and animal farming coming together, today's farming is as strong as it's been, and probably and there's always room for improvement, but the industry is today, and it is probably one of the largest industries in today's world. Thank you.